Hi, Math 3 students, and welcome to the video going over adding and subtracting rationals. And this should say, I realized this after I printed all the packets, this should be day 3. So this is adding and subtracting rationals, day 3. All right, so what we do today is going to be very similar to what we've done the past couple of days. Essentially, we're going to be working to try and get a common denominator. However, before we do that, we might have to do some factoring or do some simplifying or something like that before we work to get that common denominator. So let's take a look here at number 39. All right. So taking a look here, off the bat, just from looking at it, it kind of looks like these are similar, right? However, we talked about it previously, how 9 minus x is not the same as x minus 9, right? But what we can do is this guy's kind of funky looking, right? So if we do, if we rewrite him as negative x plus 9, okay, because that's essentially what it is. If we take that negative out in front, we end up with x minus 9, okay? So we have 1 over negative x minus 9. Now, if you look, this is very similar to this guy, right? Now, there's kind of a nifty trick we can do to essentially get rid of a negative in the denominator, and that's basically moving it up to the top. Now, when there's not a lot of terms on the top, it's very easy to do this in your head, but like if we had, like x plus 1 or something, you'd have to make sure you distributed this. So this is why it's best to kind of think of it in the way that I'm about to show you. So to get rid of a negative, you would multiply the top and the bottom by negative 1. So then what happens is on the top, we get negative 1 all over, and then negative times negative 1 becomes positive. So it essentially makes that negative go away. So really what we're doing is we're just moving the negative to the top. So we end up with negative 1 x minus 9 plus 5 all over x minus 9. At this point, we've got our common denominator. We just need to combine like terms. This is an x. So we should have 5x minus 1 all over x minus 9 as our answer. All right. So 40 is going to be very similar to this. So this guy looks good, but this guy looks wonky, right? So we got to go ahead. If we have 3 minus x, that is the same as negative x plus 3. We can take our negative out in front, and we get x minus 3. Negative x minus 3, I should say. So we've got 2 negative x minus 3. And then we're going to go ahead and multiply top and bottom by negative 1. Actually not do that. All right. So then we get a negative 2 on top. This goes away. And we get x minus 3 on the bottom. So we've got 5x plus 2 here all over x minus 3. Now, again, we have our common denominator. So all we need to do is, well, in this case, we do have a minus sign, so we kind of have to distribute. So we end up with 5x plus 2 because we distribute that negative all over x minus 3, which is going to give us 5x plus 4 all over x minus 3. All right, next one. So looking at this, what we have to do is we have to first factor the denominator before we determine what our common denominator is going to be. Now, this first guy is good to go. All right. But the second guy, we've got a difference of squares there. So this guy's denominator is going to be x plus 3, x minus 3. Okay. So from looking at this, this is actually going to be our common denominator. And if it helps, make sure you actually write out, right? Our common denominator is going to be x plus 3, x minus 3, right? Now, this first guy already has an x minus 3 right here. So he's missing his x plus 3. So we're going to do x plus 3 times x plus 3. Now, make sure you distribute the top there. So we get 3x squared plus 9x all over our common denominator of x minus 3, x plus 3. Plus, and then this guy who is already chilling, we get x plus 3, x minus 3. And then we don't have any negatives to distribute, so it's really just like combining like terms on top. So we get 3x squared plus 9x plus 5 all over our common denominator of x minus 3, x plus 3. Now, you could also write this as 3x squared plus 9x plus 5, and then you could FOIL out the bottom, which was essentially this, right? X squared minus 9. Both of these guys are valid answers. And again, it's important to know that these are equivalent. All right, so here for number 42. The first guy is good to go. He's happy. X minus 7. Or I shouldn't say he's good to go, but he at least doesn't need to be factored. And then the second guy does need to be factored here. So we get 2 all over x plus 7, x minus 7. So from looking here, this guy is an x plus 7, x minus 7. This guy already has the x minus 7. So our common denominator here is going to be x plus 7, x minus 7. So with that in mind, this guy here is missing the x plus 7. We're going to go ahead and distribute. So we end up with 2x squared plus 14x all over our common denominator, x plus 7, x minus 7, minus 2 all over x plus 7, x minus 7. And of course, we have to distribute this negative. We end up with 2x squared plus 14x, and then just minus 2. All over x plus 7, x minus 7. And again, you could write this if you were to like simplify the bottom as x squared minus 49. And then you would still have the same stuff on top, which is 2x squared plus 14x minus 2. These are both valid solutions or valid simplifications of this expression. All right, next one. So, again, first thing you have to do is factor the denominator, all right? So the first guy doesn't need to be factored at all. However, the second guy we can factor as x minus 4, x minus 5. Remember, you need to figure out what multiplies to this guy, adds to this guy, all right? So looking at this, our common denominator for number 43 is going to be x minus 4, x minus 5, right? This guy already has the x minus 4, this has the x minus 4 and x minus 5. So all we need to do here is get this guy to kind of catch up, and he needs to be multiplied by x minus 5 all over x minus 5. Now, this is where it gets a little bit tricky. You got to FOIL this guy up top here. So instead of, because FOILing is distributing, but it's just distributing twice. Like here, right, there was only one term, so we just had to distribute. This guy has 2 terms, so we have to FOIL, which is distributing, just distributing twice. All right, so we get 5x squared minus 25x plus 7x minus 35. So I'm just going to combine like terms real quick. We get 5x squared. It's late, so I'm going to use a calculator so I don't make a silly error. Minus 25 plus 7. We get minus 18x minus 35. So this top part here is now 5x squared minus 18x minus 35 all over our common denominator of x minus 4, x minus 5. And then we've got minus 3x all over x minus 4, x minus 5. Then this is subtraction, so we got to make sure we distribute that negative. So we get 5x squared minus 18x minus 35 minus 3x. We can combine like terms. 5x squared minus 21x minus 35, and then put that all over our common denominator of x minus 4, x minus 5 as our solution there. All right, you're doing good, guys. Next one. All right, so, of course, we got to go ahead and make sure we factor this guy. So we've got x plus 2, and our bottom here is going to be x minus 6, x plus 3. Remember, what multiplies to this adds to this. So looking at the second guy here, He is missing the x plus 3. So I'm going to multiply the top and the bottom by x plus 3. All right. Again, make sure you distribute. So we end up with this guy. He stays the same because he already had the common denominator. We've got minus, and then when we distribute, we get 5x squared plus 15x all over x minus 6, x plus 3. Then, this is very important, and this is what I know a lot of y'all are going to get tripped up on this. You have to make sure you distribute this negative to both terms, not just the 5x squared. It has to go to the 15x as well. So on top, we end up with x plus 2 minus 5x squared minus 15x. All right, and that's over our common denominator. Then our last step is just going to be combining like terms at the very end. So we get negative 5x squared minus 14x plus 2 all over x minus 6, x plus 3. All right, and same thing. I think I kind of pointed this out. Again, you guys can multiply out this denominator if you want at the very end, but you do not have to. It's not a requirement. All right, we are almost there, my friends. Let's take a look here at number 45. All right, so we've got this guy, which we can't factor. However, this guy here we can. What multiplies to negative 3 adds to 2. That is going to be x plus 3, x minus 1. So my first guy here, I guess we could look, our common denominator is going to be x plus 3, x minus 1. All right, so this first guy is missing the x plus 3, right? So we're going to multiply top and the bottom by x plus 3, distribute the 5, so we get 5x plus 15 all over x minus 1, x plus 3. Then we distribute the negative, which is just a minus 7. So on top, really, we're going to have 5x, and then 15 minus 7, which is going to give us an 8 over our common denominator. And we're good to go. All right. Oh, no. Hopefully, y'all caught my silly error here. This was supposed to have an x on it. So if we go back and fix that, I'm sorry. We should get minus 2x plus 15, because then that 7 then needs to be combined with the 5. So my bad. I'm glad I caught that. All right. Last one. Good job. So we've got this first one, which we have to factor. We get x plus 2, x plus 4. Factoring is not going to go away, so make sure you guys feel good with that, all right? Practice it if you need to. So looking at this, our common denominator is going to be x plus 2, x plus 4. So this guy here is going to need an x plus 4. So we distribute and we get x squared plus 4x all over x plus 2, x plus 4. Then I have to distribute my negative. I get 7 minus x squared minus 4x all over x plus 2, x plus 4. And then I can just put that in standard form, negative x squared minus 4x plus 7 all over our common denominator of x plus 2, x plus 4. All right,